Hey kiddos, today our story is called Balarama, a royal elephant. Move my camera a little bit here so I'm not looking to the side all the time. There we go. Balarama, a royal elephant. Huge and magnificent elephants stir in the imagination like no other animal on earth. In India, these mammoth creatures are honored and admired, and for centuries they have been a part of religious, culture, and social life throughout the country. In years past, the elephant of the Karapur forest in southern India were in great demand. Maharas, the Hindu king of the land, wanted trained elephants for public festivities, and local people needed them for heavy work. From the 1880s until about 1970, roundups were used to capture elephants in pit traps called Kadeas, which would be their language, like a and I don't know how they say that, but a Kadeas. A very large, deep pit was dug and covered with thin layers of branches and leaves. When a herd of wild elephants was spotted, dozens of men using drums, gongs, fires, and firecrackers would drive the elephants into the pit. Once the elephants fell into the Kadea, the area was surrounded by a stockade made out of stout logs that were lashed together. After a week or two in the Kadea, the elephants were pulled out with the help of logs, and the already tamed elephant by already tamed elephants ridden by their mayhouts, or trainers. Only then did the process of training the exhausted, dazed creatures begin. Oh, that sounds terrible to me. Because of the pain and suffering inflicted on the elephants, Kadeas are outlawed now. Good. Today, great herds of these giant wild animals move peacefully through the Karapur forest. The forest is also home to many camp or trained elephants that are used for festivals and work. Some of these elephants were captured before the Kadeas became illegal. Others have been born to camp elephants. The animals are cared for and trained by the mayhouts, who live side by side with the elephants in the forest. Mahouts have a deep, lifelong connection with their animals. The sons of mahouts often become elephant trainers too. The greatest of all camp elephants are the royal elephants. Okay, and this gives us a picture of the map of India, and this is where we're talking, right down here in this forest in the bottom. Notice the decorated elephants that they would use for festivities. Elephant camp. From the city of Mysura, we head out with a car and a driver for the Karapur forest near Nargahole National Park. We are on our way to see the elephants of southern India. We drive under an arch of banyan trees planted years ago by the Maharas as a place for weary travelers to rest out of the blazing sun. Palm tree lined rice paddies border the road for miles. In the Karapur forest, we meet up with our guide, Sundar, and take off in his open jeep. Before long, a lumbering elephant and her calf appear on the track ahead. The bell hanging loosely from her neck makes a haunting, mournful sound. The elephant has a fresh wound on her belly. She was out in the forest the night before, foraging for food, and was attacked by an aggressive bull elephant. It's a deep puncture wound from the bull's tusk, but the elephant's mahout says she will be all right. The elephant stops next to our jeep. From our seats, we look into her huge brown eyes. We've never looked into an elephant's eyes before, we say. The long, thick broom of her lashes descends and rises in a slow, solemn blink. We follow the two elephants as they plod on to the camp, a group of mud huts with tiled roofs deep in the forest. There are 5 more elephants in the camp being cared for by their mahouts. At one end of the camp It is a small temple with elephant bells hanging from the eaves. Painted on the doorsteps of the temple is a rangoli, a symbol of good luck and welcome. Women in bright, colorful clothes carry jugs of water on their head. They walk slowly past the elephants and into their houses. There is a young elephant in the camp that already weighs about 800 pounds. He's a little handful of mischief, Sundar says. The elephant loves to chase the children, bowling them over and making them scatter as he runs through the camp. Ah, that looks fun. Just lots of little pictures. Sundar stands in the smoke drifting up from a big pot of elephant mash that smells like baking bread. The mash is a mixture of water, salt, millet, and gram flour. It is very nutritious, and the children love it as much as the elephants. The Mahout's children surround Sundar. They know by heart the story that he is about to tell. We join them. Drona, the lead royal elephant, is very clever. He loves bananas. He knows that every week a big truck loaded with bananas comes to the forest road. One day, as soon as Drona smelled the bananas, he walked to the road and waited near the top of the hill. Drona watched as the truck came slowly into view. Nearing the top of the hill, the driver shifted gears and pushed down on the gas pedal. Nothing happened. The truck wouldn't budge. The driver and his helper couldn't understand why they weren't moving forward. Then the driver glanced into his rear view mirror, and all he saw was elephant. Drona had grabbed the back of the truck with his trunk and was holding the truck in place. The men were so frightened, they leaped from the cab and ran to the forest. Drona then tipped over the truck and ate all but one case of the bananas. The children laugh as if they were hearing the story for the very first time. We ask Sundar if we could see Drona. He says Drona is at another camp near the Kabini River. He will take us there. During our drive to the camp, Sundar tells us that Drona is a mighty tusker. He was chosen many years ago as an Ambari elephant, the highest honor an elephant can receive. The Ambari elephant is the lead royal elephant of the Mahara of Mysore's annual parade through the city on the last day of Dasara, a centuries-old royal and religious festival. The last day commemorates the Hindu goddess Chamundeshwari and celebrates the triumph of good over evil. Drona was selected as the Ambari elephant mostly for his distinctive aura, the special energy that radiates from him. At the camp, we are met by Drona's Mahout. He tells us to wait and then disappears into the forest. When he returns, he's talking softly to the huge beast at his side. Drona's forehead is massive, his tusks thick and pointed. He faces us and his ears come forward. He is magnificent. We feel his aura strongly. His aura is like the feeling you get when you're around somebody. Drona is very friendly to everyone, Sundar says, but you should see him when he carries the gold. He takes on a royal attitude then. He even walks with a different gait. So it'd be like if you were wearing a crown, you might walk like you are royal or a princess, and they're saying that the elephant walks like that. It's as if he's telling the other elephants, follow me. We decide that we must return the following year to see Drona carry that gold. 1 year later, we are back in southern India for Dasara, that's the festival, and we are looking forward to seeing Drona lead the parade. But when we meet up with Sundar, he has bad news. I'm sorry to tell you that Drona is dead, Sundar says. He was feeding along the road near the elephant camp. There was plenty to eat everywhere. Why he decided to graze near the road instead of in the forest, who knows? Drona had pulled down a large tree branch in order to eat the leaves. The falling branch struck an electrical line, and Drona was electrocuted. Everyone in Mysore was saddened. His Mahout and the others who lived in the elephant camp were devastated. They felt as if they had lost their best friend. "Would you like to see Drona's grave?" Sundar asked. "Oh, yes, very much," we say. Sundar drives us to a high, lush bank overlooking the Kabini River. There, Drona's grave is marked with a large, three-tiered pink marble tablet. Drona's huge body was buried underneath the stone. Offerings of wildflowers are scattered atop the grave. We feel as if we too have lost a friend. We stand quietly for a while, and then we place our own wildflowers among the others. The next day in Mysore, we meet Nagarjuna, our official guide for Dasara, the festival. He offers to introduce us to the Balarama, the elephant that was chosen to take Drona's place. It will be Balarama's first time leading the Manoharas parade, his first time carrying his golden howdah, an 800-pound ceremonial carriage made of wood seethed in gold. Inside sits a statue of the goddess Chamungandeshwari. It's a short walk from our hotel to the Mahara's palace, where the parade will begin. Some people think there will never be another Ambari elephant like Drona, says Nahara. Balarama may not have the oar of Drona, but he's an impressive animal. We follow along as Nahara leads us across the palace grounds to the stables. Balarama was brought here from the forest a few days ago to get used to the city. At first, Balarama's Mahout does not want to let us see the prized elephant in his charge. He steps in front of the stall with a small barred window and he waves us away. Naharja holds out his official badge and the Mahout relents. He opens the large stable door and calls quietly to the elephant that is within. Slowly, Balarama emerges. He peeks out high above us. Then his brightly painted head and shoulders appear. He is very impressive. We back away in awe. Balarama breathes heavily. He sways back and forth. His presence is overwhelming. Heart pounding, we back away still farther, and then we nod, okay, to the Mahout. He seems relieved as Balarama slowly retreats into his stall. We think Balarama has plenty of ore. Dressing of the elephants. Leaving Balarama behind, we step outside. A high wall with 4 towering entry gates surrounds 78 acres of beautifully landscaped grounds. In the center sits a magnificent, oh, that was poor reading. I got to go back and do that again. Leaving Balarama behind, we step outside. A high wall with 4 towering entry gates surrounds 78 acres of beautifully landscaped grounds. In the center sits a magnificent palace that is home to the Mahara of Mysore and his family. Along one wall, by a grove of trees, the Mahouts have pitched their tents. They are cooking over open fires, and they are preparing large balls of elephant mash. The brightly painted elephants are chained to trees to keep them from wandering off. Children run over and stuff the mash into the waiting mouths of the elephants. A short while later, the Mahouts mount their elephants, then amble over to a shady courtyard in the corner of palace grounds. Courage, gorgeous silk and satin drapes dazzle us as they are thrown over the elephants and they spill down their sides. So they're getting them all decorated for the festival. And they're talking about these, they drape them over the elephants. And look how decorated they are. Wow. Once the elephants are dressed, they are led off to a marble pool shaded by huge mango trees. The animals drink their fill of the cool, refreshing water. Balarama, the Ambari elephant. Look, Balarama is coming, the crowd shouts. The majestic Balarama and his mahout slowly cross the palace grounds and enter the dressing area. Standing on a platform at the base of a tree, Balarama's mahout gently embraces the elephant's huge head, the tusks extending like ivory railings on either side. The mahout strokes Balarama's eyelashes, while the tip of the elephant's tusk whisks nervously back and forth on the ground. The dressing begins. Silken drapes are spread over Balarama. Then the golden howdah is placed on his back. Mahouts position Balarama below special equipment that gently lowers the howdah. It is a slow, delicate task. Balarama's big moment is fast approaching. We are excited and nervous for him. It is important that he stay calm and not be distracted by the crowds and the noise. Because, anytime there's a crowd, like for a parade or a festival, it's very noisy. We wouldn't want the elephant to get spooked. We hope that Balarama will make a good impression in his debut as the Ambari elephant. I'm thinking he will. Finally, under a blazing sun, the ceremony begins. Clip, clop, clip, clop. First comes the mounted police guards, turbaned riders carrying long flag-topped lances, sitting tall and straight in their saddles. Then units of cadets and soldiers and more police guards pour into the big square in front of the palace. All units snap to attention. Excitement hangs in the superheated air. Onlookers crane their necks to see. Then there he is, Balarama, carrying the golden howdah. So this big gold thing is the howdah that sits on top of the elephant. Oh, and look at that beautiful gold. Oh. Balarama's mahout turns him to face the stage, full of dignitaries in front of the palace. Dignitaries would be important people. After the chief minister performs a puja, a ritual blessing, the crowd cheers and tosses flowers in the air and all over Balarama. When the ceremony ends, Balarama turns and faces the people packed into the palace grounds. The howdah sways and sparkles in the sunlight. Balarama's big moment is about to begin. Balarama moves majestically towards one of the palace gates, leading a mile-long procession. Band after band and unit after unit of guards and soldiers march smartly past the stage, following Balarama into the packed streets of Mysore. Throngs of people push forward to see Balarama in his first ceremonial parade. We are busting with pride because he is doing great. Look at all of those onomatopoeias. Boom, ba boom, thump, thump, clack, crack. Oh, lots of them. Next comes the performers, colorfully costumed stilt walkers struck by the dancers, wildly twirl and leap to the beat of dozens of drums. So they're walking on stilts. There's the drums. Men stage fierce fights with long bamboo sticks to the sharp sounds of wood on wood. All part of the festival. A final line of elephants appear. their silk drapes shimmering in the brilliant light. The last of the parade files through the palace gate. Caught up in the thrill and the excitement of the spectacle, we join the crush of people moving out into the streets. The day after. It is early morning on the palace grounds. Balarama, his big day over, is quietly feeding outside the stables. The splendid painting on his body has faded. His mahout squats at his feet. We walk up close. "You did a good job, Balarama," we say. At the sound of our voices, Balarama turns towards us. His ears flap softly, and his trunk whisks slowly back and forth. With each breath, little puffs of dust rise from the ground. He looks so peaceful and content. Later, we see an article in the Times of India. Balarama is front page news. The caption under his picture in the newspaper reads, "Elephant Balarama, chosen to carry the golden howdah for the first time in the Mysore Dazar procession, gave a flawless performance." We cut out the Balarama's photograph from the paper to remind us of this glorious event. We also think about Drona and how for a whole year we had been looking forward to seeing him carry the gold. But now Balarama has won the hearts of those who saw him proudly carrying the golden howdah. He is truly the Ambari elephant, the greatest of the royal elephants. And then it gives us some interesting elephant facts just so that you can read that. A couple different kinds of elephants. These are different elephants that have been royal in the past. So just some great interesting facts for you to read, and a glossary and pronunciation. Whew, those were some hard words. Hope you have a great day.